Hello, I'm Dr. Jeanette Raymond, psychologist, psychotherapist, and relationship expert, here to talk to you today about how to feel independent, how to be yourself, and be loved at the same time. I see a lot of people who worry that if they do what they want and they're true to themselves, they're authentic, that their partners won't like it, that their family will feel that they're not being loyal, that somehow they're not fit to be loved, they're not valued, they're not respected, and they're definitely not wanted. So it becomes a huge conflict. Do I be myself? Do I act according to my true feelings? Or do I become this people pleaser and do everything that my partner wants, my mother wants, my boss wants, my friends want, just so that I'll be in their orbit, on their radar, and I won't feel so alone? So let me tell you a few stories about people who have this terrible, terrible conflict. So there's one person in his early 30s who is married, no children, and he has a very good mind. He can think, he's creative, he sees all sides of an issue, he loves to debate. So he's got a lot going on inside him. But he's terrified that if he expresses it to his wife, who sees the world very differently to him, she will discard him, she will see him as being mean, as deliberately starting a fight, and not being aligned with her, and therefore not being worth her love and attention. There's the threat there of losing the connection. And so what he does is he gets very upset, but he doesn't want to show it. He doesn't want to add to the trouble already happening between him and his wife. So he swallows it. He uses medication and other substances to kind of sedate himself so that he doesn't get upset. And he loses that part of him that's authentic. But his gain is keeping close to his wife to make sure the threat of separation is never there. But in the meantime, he can't be himself. He has to narrow himself. He has to squeeze himself into the shape and form that he thinks his wife will want. And every time he tries to take a step outside, he feels he's taking too big a risk. She won't be able to handle it, and she'll quickly push him down. And he then gives her all the authority to decide who he is and how he has to behave. So that's one instance. So now I'm going to tell you the case of another person, this time a woman, also in her mid-30s, who grew up in a home where her father was very bossy. She had a mother who was scared of him, and they both kind of did everything he said. They played his tune just to keep him happy so that their household would be safe, that they'd have a roof over their heads and enough to live on and keep going. But this mid-30-year-old person during her childhood felt constrained, and if ever she decided, like kids do, to speak their mind, to think about things in new ways, to experiment, she felt very quickly that it was not okay. Punitive measures against her would be performed, like, her pocket money would be taken away, her father would give her the cold shoulder, nobody would speak to her. And she'd have to apologize and bow down to her father's wish and make him feel like he knew everything and she didn't. So when she grew up and she later got married, as you can imagine, you find people similar to your parents because that's familiar to you. She found someone in her life who she felt was not tolerant of her experiences. And she was looking for someone who would let her have whatever experience she wanted, whatever thoughts, views, meltdowns, joyful experiences she wanted, and that her partner would accept it, tolerate it, and be joyful for her. But of course, she didn't find someone like that. She found someone who felt that he was being squashed when she was being herself, and she felt that she was being squashed when he wanted to be himself. So it was not a good fit because they were exactly alike. So in order to cope and maintain the marriage, she gave all the power to him to decide who she had to be, how she had to be it, and in what way she had to be present in the marriage in order for the marriage to survive. And he did the same thing on his end, except they didn't see it that way, although they were kind of doing the same thing. So how to be independent, how to be yourself and still be loved. Why is the threat of independence? Why does that mean that you can't be loved or wanted or respected or admired or even be a source of inspiration? Why is that such a big deal for people like this who have to live in a very, very narrow environment and use drugs and sedatives and substances to make sure they don't cross the line? Because even the woman, the mid-30-year-old woman, she drank a lot and she used tranquilizers and sleeping tablets to keep her calm so that she wouldn't overdo it and upset her husband, who would then not be tolerant and think she was being too emotional, which is exactly how her father saw her. Why is this? Well, it's about dependency needs. If you feel dependent on your dad, on your partner, on your co-worker, whoever it might be, to make you feel safe, to make you feel happy, to give you a roof over your head, to make you feel less alone, then you're going to be threatened with separation and helplessness if you don't follow your partner's expectations or your father's expectations, your mother's, whoever it might be. So the deal is you give up being yourself, you choose to be what they want or what you think they want in order to get what they're offering, apparently, which is, you know, some kind of contiguity, some kind of togetherness, which makes you feel less alone and helpless. But the truth is, if you take your own power and create a sense of strength within yourself that you can survive, and you can go out there in the world, make your own living and survive. You don't have to depend on your partner or your father for money or a roof over your head or anything else. If you feel alone, then it means that you haven't developed a sense that you are worthy, that you have something to offer, that you have humor, that you have insight, that you have a creative brain, and you have all those things. But if you don't see it, then you're never going to want to develop it. That means you're going to stay in a dependent, helpless place, and you'll be stuck there. But if you give yourself the opportunity to say, today I'm going to do what I want to. I feel like swimming, I'm going to swim. I feel like talking to my friends, I'm going to talk to my friends. I feel like eating a pizza, I'm going to order pizza. Once you start doing those things and your partner, your mother, your father, your whoever it might be, boss, sees that you're doing these things, they will have a respect for you because now you're being their equal. You're not being their subordinate. And they're not going to treat you in the same way. They can't threaten you because you are doing these things in a place of saying, I'm being me and this is who I am. You are valuing yourself, and then they're going to do the same thing. They can't feed on your fear or your need for being helpless and being dependent on them. Once they see that you can take care of certain things yourself, that you're not afraid of doing things on your own because you believe in yourself, rather than waiting for them to tell you you're a good person or that you're doing things the right way, they're going to see you as equals, and then you will be freed. That's how you can be independent and loved at the same time. I look forward to hearing your views if you've been in this situation yourself. Please keep your comments to this particular topic, and I'd love to hear your experiences. Bye for now.